Okay, obviously 2010 was a weird year for you in a sense, whereas obviously you then left Roadrunner, and obviously Matthew ended up not being on the road with you a lot. How do you feel now, that kind of like tough period, what effect did it have on the band?
I mean, everything. Like hell.
Good answer.
I mean, you know, like it's funny because we get asked that question, like we dance around it and then say anything, but everything sucked.
Yeah.
For a long time. I mean, we didn't have each other, we didn't have the band. Everything was, you know, I mean, everybody just kind of, I guess, withdrew into themselves for a little bit while, you know, and we didn't know what to do. I don't know. It's great. I mean, now that we finally started doing it again, I think everybody's kind of coming back to life. You know.
I think it definitely afforded us something we'd been missing for the previous 6 or 7 years, which was perspective. You know,
yeah, exactly.
We never had perspective because we never had a long enough break to see what was happening in the world and our world. You know, it was sort of confined to this tiny little moving hallway, different city every night. Not around family, not around friends, you know, and you get lost in that, and then to have a break where everything goes crashing down, you know. Then we were forced to be sidelined for, you know, 12, 18 months or something.
Yeah.
Really gave us perspective, and it gave us a newfound appreciation and certainly vitality. You know, we realized, I think we learned in that time how much we need each other and we need this, you know.
How did it feel for you, obviously, coming out of hospital and then finding out that all the support that you had, because obviously you had, you know, Smashing Pumpkins, one of your favourite bands, put on, you know, to raise money for you, and you had so much support from all the fans. Was it kind of like just an awakening to how much kind of like people are out there supporting you guys?
Yeah, it was shocking, humbling, and indescribable, really. I mean, I could not believe it. I certainly didn't have my wits about me, so I didn't really know what was going on, you know. But as I began, you know, while I was in a coma, Nathan was reading me letters, you know, from fans and things like that. And when I kind of woke up, I think that all of that energy that everybody was sort of donating into my doctor's, my you know, medical room or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely helped.
Definitely helped. And then as I started to get more of my wits about me, then I started to get a gauge of the scope of it, you know. And I've never felt more, gratitude in it that you don't have words for. And then also a real sense of pride to belong to the music community. Because I feel like the music community stood up and showed the world something, you know, and anyone who's not in the music community, you know, who saw what the music community did for one of its own, they had to be blown away by that, you know.
Yeah, I think most people probably don't expect that from this kind of group of people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they proved a lot of people. I think it surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, this sort of stereotype is it's a backstabbing, sort of ego-driven industry, right. And yeah, sure, it has those elements, but no other industry will pick up a fallen brethren like the music business and community. Right?
Coming out of last year then, which was kind of a bad year for you guys, how do you feel like this year with obviously the getting signed again, doing another album? How's kind of like the polar difference this year? How has that been for you guys?
It's another incredible adjustment, right?
Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, it's like he was saying too. I think it's all like saved us in a way, you know, because all of us kind of retreated to our own kind of weird, you know, self-destructive things in our heads and everything like that. So it's kind of pulled everybody out, but it's also been quite an adjustment as well too, because it's like we're kind of picking up where we left off. I feel like, but without 6 years of momentum behind you. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of like, it's amazing and it feels right, but it's kind of like jumping in the deep end again, you know, and it's definitely been weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it feels great. It feels good.
It feels, you're right. I mean, it's a dichotomy, right? I mean, you have like the polarized, amazing fact that we can even do this again, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then there's just the show of solidarity with the audience, especially in the UK, you know. So we got to have that feeling again and share these experiences again and make the record, which is our favorite record, you know. So all of those incredible things. We also, like, I'm married.
Yeah, I have a son.
He has a
everything.
son.
Yeah, it was a wild year, man. Like a lot of things changed.
A lot of life squashed into a 2-year span.
Yeah. So here we are again doing this, which we all love to do, and it's the only thing we want to do, and it's amazing. But it's under different circumstances now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
kind of having to learn how to do it again, but not quite the same way we used to do it. You know?
Yeah.
Does the World War III title come from you kind of like feeling like you've been in a battle, or is there any other reason for the album title?
Yeah, the album title World War III has been was determined way before any of this even happened. But in an odd way, we sort of manifested. Okay, just in a nutshell, you know, it's a sort of. We set out in the beginning, we declared we're doing a 3-album sort of concept with this mythological town, and you know, we're ultimately, by the end of it, by the 3rd record, we're going to call World War III, and we're going to postulate how, just an idea that we have, how, if, especially in America, if we continue enacting the lifestyle and the value system and the things that are valued there, that will be a dangerous and unfulfilling path. So this was, you know, we're postulating this in this surreal mythological town, and then we sort of manifested it into our reality because my assailant, for example, was a guy who was enacting all of these ill values, and it created this neurosis in his head. And look at the character he turned out to be, you know. So. World War III, I mean, what it really means is, you know, surrender to the ego. No more fighting. If you don't have an ego, you have nothing to battle against, and then that's, you know, how you exist in peace.
What's next then? You've done the trilogy. What's the next on the horizon? Is there plans for what the next album or what the next concept's going to be, or is it just seeing what happens?
We always have ideas as far as musically go. You know, like there's always things happening that we kind of can focus on. But as far as like you were saying before, it was really more of a ambitious, long-term kind of. When we started out, like we were gonna have to do this 3-record thing. It seemed like just something that was so far away we never get there. And now, you know, we all realize how much really had to go into.
Yeah.
You know,
we got a monkey off our back.
Yeah, almost in a way. So now I think that combined with all the experiences that we just had in the past years really changed our perspective on things too. So now it's much more about just like we just said, like almost, it's almost amazing we didn't even know if we'd be able to ever do it again. So it's just kind of like living in the moment and enjoying being able to be back and being able to do this. And we're just going to do what feels right and do what feels good at the moment, you know? Because that's kind of the way we recorded the 3rd record. It turned out to be our favorite one. And I think we're learning that lesson from a bunch of different angles and all proving the same point, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And it's nice because we're now, you know, instead of exhausted by it, we're revitalized by it, you know, so looking into the future was very exciting for us, you know.
Okay. One last question. What was it like working with Billy Corgan?
Oh, God, it is another indescribable answer. It was so, I use the word surreal again because it was, you know, and they say you're not supposed to, they advise you don't meet your idols because you hold them on such a high pedestal that all they can do is sort of, you know, fall beneath what you expect. And Billy Corgan just blew our expectations away. It was, you know, quite the opposite. He was just an absolutely masterful artist, an absolutely gracious, beautiful, and loving man. We have a burgeoning friendship with him now, and it's, you know, the most inspiring and exciting thing that we've been a part of in a very long time. He's incredible.